Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the studio.
Welcome to the studio.
If
Still a work in progress.
Yeah. But this is hilarious to me that you already had this room kind of going, but we've done a podcast. Not only did you buy all the stuff, like equipment wise, but now we have a whole studio at our house. So for any singer-songwriters out there, come on over. You can record downstairs in the basement and we can cook you something good upstairs.
Yeah, I don't have my sound just right as far as the deadening goes, but we're getting closer.
Yeah. So anyways, but welcome to the podcast to Oakley House Design Studios.
Yes, Oakley House Design Studios. So, hey, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right.
Yeah. I know who I married. I know who I married. Anyways, I also thought it was funny. We'll get into this when we do the podcast, but I made my drink, my cider, when I come down here, and I just, we have a million coffee cups, but because they speak to us, but we're going to talk about communication.
Yep.
I guess spoiler alert. But the cup I chose was a little less conversation. Elvis. And I thought, I'm gonna roll with it.
All right, break. We're done. I know what that means.
So, anyways, but
so what are you drinking today?
I know. I was gonna say, welcome to podcast Corey and Frankie. We're gonna chat a little bit about some things, and we'll bust right into it. But I was thinking we had something else.
What are you drinking? You've already told them all of that.
What am I drinking? I am drinking. It's fall. It's fall, y'all. And so I am drinking some apple cider with whipped cream.
Well, today I'm on the hard stuff. I'm on water.
Today you're on water. But what have you been drinking lately? I have been drinking all apple cider things.
Yeah.
Like apple cider-y things, because it's just the vibe. We're in fall, and that's just the vibe.
Water lately.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
You're on greens. That's what you're drinking.
I am on the greens, the OAG1 greens, trying to get everything.
We have tried a lot of greens, and just in case you're like us and you're a lot closer to 40 than 20 these days, and you're looking for a good greens. Yeah, you've passed 40. Yeah. But no, like if you're looking for good green, we've tried a lot, and Arbonne tastes the best.
Yeah. So
like
far,
hands
of all
down,
the things that we've tried.
Hands down, tastes the best. They cost the most.
I think AG1's more expensive than Arbonne.
No, You haven't bought any of them, but
I bought it all.
No, Arbonne is the most expensive. AG1 is like expensive but affordable for what you get. Arbonne is the most expensive, but they do taste the best, and I think it works really well.
It's easy too for traveling because AG1 has to be refrigerated, and it's in a big.
Well, they sell it in travel packs too.
Yeah, but it's expensive.
Yeah, but they sell it in travel packs, or you can like get free stuff. So they make theirs affordable, and I mean, it's greens. It's not great. Arbonne is actually good. They only sell it in the travel packs, which is probably a portion of what makes it more expensive. But it's also pre-portioned out, so you're not like wasting any. But AG1 is just kind of like solid. They've always got some coupon codes going, and you're just getting it down. We've also tried some that were not good at all.
No, we've tried several different brands.
Yeah,
I mean, they taste like what you're eating.
Corey's like, this tastes like I just went outside in the yard, dug a hole,
disintegrated a beet and some grass and chewed on it, which is what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean,
that is what it is.
Jack tried to, what's it called? Cold pack. Where you just like do it straight into your mouth. And then he was like, I think I'm dying.
Yeah, he thought he was dying.
It made an air pocket
in his lungs. It's like,
it was.
You're a moron.
It was terrible. So don't ask him for AG1 recommendations.
Don't just pour a scoop of greens in your mouth and try to wash it down with water.
I think it was called cold packing, but I've seen other people when he had talked about that.
I've seen people do that with protein powder.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff
protein powder.
like
But
that.
I'm like, I can't do it.
I can't do it with a pixie stick.
I can do it with like a BC powder, but I can't do it with like I can't do with other stuff. It's just too much. So anyway, that was a lot on what are we drinking, but I mean,
Frankie's been on the coffee today too because she's hyped up.
people. Well, I just feel like that's a relevant thing for people our age of like, what vitamins are you taking?
No, I'm just talking about your energy level.
Oh, this is just me. I'm on meds. So think of me if I wasn't.
Yeah,
But okay, so we're drinking all things apple cider.
we are
You made me an apple cider
old fashioned.
old fashioned. It was mid.
Yeah, I even smoked the cinnamon,
You did. You hit all the things that would make me love it.
and it just didn't come through.
It just didn't hit as much as we thought it would.
It's hard to mess it. I mean,
The bartender was hot.
A good old fashioned is just hard to beat.
Yeah. Bartender was hot.
Well, maybe you'll have to run by that establishment another day and see.
Well, I gave him a big tip. Didn't do nothing. Wrote my number down and everything.
They may give you a call. What are you reading these days?
What am I reading? I am reading, I'm kind of still on my same train. I finished another book in the series since the last time, and I'm on like the final descent on this book series. It's lots of things are happening in Throne of Glass, but I'm also reading like an exceptional amount of nonfiction stuff these days, and which has all been really, really good. But it's probably it's a lot of stuff on mental health, which we will get into some more later. But
we'll get into that.
But anyway,
too.
so what are you reading?
So I'm actually in between books. So I made my first ever book buddy.
I was
in
about
Savannah.
to say.
I made my first ever book buddy. So I'm not a big fantasy.
They exchanged Instagrams.
I'm not a big fantasy. Like Harry Potter's about as far out into the dragon
You read
fictional
Fourth
world.
Wing with Sophie.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah. But
I read it.
You said it was okay. It was just very teen, kind of teen love type thing.
And I ain't trying to read all the smutty stuff, but
Well, you should.
yeah, maybe.
You like that I read it.
Yep, that's true. That's true. But so I've like tried to get in because I want to like some fictional stuff. I'm a historical fiction kind of guy. Like we got to have some truth.
Some Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Who killed such and such?
Well, yeah, but that's not. That's yeah. I mean, that is historical fiction, but like I like a book based on some reality, and so it's
yes.
I like a thriller. I love a good thriller.
Yeah, you say that, but the last ones you've tried to read have not hit for you either. So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
this series is
so we had
Brandon
Sanderson, and Katie had told me about it, and
Yes.
so she had got me
And
pointed
you-
down that path.
Maybe you got the first book on Audible or you
Yeah,
downloaded
I
it?
got
or
the first book on Audible. I downloaded it. I hadn't started it, and that we talked about this in July, so I'm a little behind.
Yeah.
But I'm still on I'm 10 books in. I'm still on track.
We're all
right
still
now.
on track.
And so
I've already, if you count all the nonfiction things I've read, well, then I've
if we're
blown it
getting
down
into
the water.
if we're getting into schoolwork, then I'm yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, well, I
So-
mean, whole books and whole things. So,
Yeah.
But
well, so
you're going to finish this book, which is called Son of Kings.
I think it is. I don't know.
How do you not know?
Because I haven't started reading it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And so I'm excited for you to read this because it is, he also finished Wheel of Time.
Yeah, my book buddy.
Well, yeah.
I didn't read Wheel of Time.
No, me and Sophie have. I haven't finished all of Wheel of Time, and I don't think she has it either, but it's really good. It's like where all fantasy, it was really like the birthplace of some really good fantasy. And he helped finish that series when that author passed away, I think. So,
Yeah. So I'm trying.
I'll look up the title here in a second and tell everybody. All right, what are you wearing these days?
Still in my Tacovas. Like I'm
You're
staying.
still in your Tacovas, but what
staying
else are
true.
you wearing? What have you been
Travis
into?
Matthews shirt.
Well,
Oh,
no,
let's see.
like just what are you wearing
What am
these
I-
days?
These days, like I don't know where they've been, and maybe they've been there. Maybe now that I'm getting healthier, my body can actually work in them. But I've got an extensive collection of Wrangler jeans
Oh,
these
I was
days.
thinking, where are you going? Oh, yeah.
And like not the old school like cowboy style, but they are like a retro cut, but it's not
Yeah.
like what I thought. Like they ain't painted on. I can't do a painted on nothing. My legs are too big. And it's not because I wouldn't, but like I just got big legs. So you start getting into some of these tight fitting pants at the bottom and everything else. My pants, they just don't, my legs ain't built for that.
Yeah. You have been wearing Wranglers
But
these days.
Wranglers have been my jam. It's like a cowboy, cowgirl glam.
We are in our cowboy and cowgirl era.
It's a whole thing right now. We've been
It is.
rocking it out at the country music concerts and doing a lot of those,
I have been wearing.
which fits right into what we're watching. But what are you wearing?
I these days have been wearing. I was gonna just say still my Wranglers. I have a couple new pair of Wranglers as well that I've been wearing.
What? You've bought more jeans?
I bought them with yours. Anyways, but also just it's fall. I love the fall vibes of anything. So just like fun little sets. But I've been wearing a cowboy hat and it is fantastic. We bought it from a place in Nashville. It's Premonition Goods, but I ordered it online. But they don't make them in-house there. It's from Portugal and it fits my head. Fantastic. Like I love it.
Yeah.
I would wear it everywhere I go. I finally found like a good, which I'm a hat person. Like I've always worn hats, not just trucker hats, but like hats. And I have some good hats.
Right.
But like I didn't have one that was just like a true like cowboy hat. And so now I do, and it is fantastic. Like fantastic.
So now that we've got the cowboy hat, what are we watching?
What are we watching?
Straight Out the Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, Tulsa King. Yeah.
I had watched Tulsa King. I think they dropped a new season, and we're just kind of we're busy, kind of in a lull. And I was like, Frankie, you watch this because we like some of the Taylor Sheridan stuff. But
it's not his best work.
we love Linus.
But our children are calling. It's not their best work, but it's like if you are into the Taylor Sheridan Paramount Taylor Sheridan channel, then it is, just like it's okay.
Yeah.
It's been okay.
Well, we'll kind of get started since we're both watching that at the same time. I'm not starting any new shows.
I'm going to answer our child and then you can keep talking. It's just how this new live version is going to go.
Well, that's what I was trying to do before you just called it out.
Sorry. Sorry.
So only the people watching got to know that you were not paying attention to them on your phone.
Yeah.
And, being that way. But maybe we'll edit that out. Maybe we won't. Probably we won't because it's just who we are. So, there's a lot been going on. And one thing that we wanted to talk about, and I've kind of felt led to talk about it for a while, is communication inside of a marriage. Also, a little bit of mental health. And when I say mental health,
you're opening up some big, deep.
Yeah, and we'll get deep. We can get deeper as we go, but I'm gonna scratch the surface today.
Okay, we're sticking the toe in the pool.
We're just gonna stick the toe in the pool today.
Okay. We both know that I will get in the water. That this is not how that nobody's just sticking a toe in this family. But
well, you also know we're gonna keep this to an hour.
Yeah, we are.
But anyway, so get into some mental health and some approaches, maybe some things that have helped us, and some things that have happened to us to cause us to have to delve into some of these issues.
Yeah. I think communication is a good place for us to start. And that can segue off into some other stuff, but communication is, we are we are generally talking about talking a lot, actually. I've been thinking about this. And a lot of our arguments, or as we call them.
You used to call
You
them.
used to, yeah, now, but
growing conversations.
growing conversations. But a lot of our growing conversations and arguments are ultimately about communication and the lack of, or the miscommunication that happens, or our
The inability to.
I was going to say inability, or our need for specific communication that we might individually be in the process of rewiring and finding for ourselves, and don't realize that we need it from our partner, or from sometimes, I mean, a lot of times it comes out ugly at you or yours at me, and it might be other stuff.
Mhm.
But I was thinking about that, and I was like, I think that probably 95% of our arguments in the past several years are about communication, actually.
Yeah, probably.
Like,
Or other people.
yeah,
We used to fight about other people. It's like, we
yeah,
don't even
that
have
was
a,
like way.
like, why are we even fighting about that?
I'm meaning just about, though, I was like, I don't even think that, like, I get mad at you about anything else, but like it all ultimately goes back, and like we argue about and like label it that way, like lack of communication, and
Yeah.
like or miscommunication, or like, I feel like I wish that I had recordings of our old arguments when we first got married, like, and I could just listen in. And then even sometimes now, I'm like, if we had the playback, and like you're in a whole different place and a different mood, and you just only listen to the words, like if it had no context or no anything, and then I'm like, that would be so funny.
Yeah,
probably, because I'm like, we're arguing about language and communication,
Well, how many
and words.
How many arguments have we discovered that we were arguing well over probably 30 minutes or an hour, and not just going back and forth arguing, but like we've done took a break and then we're still sullen, sitting on the couch, mad at each other.
Yeah.
And truly, we both had the same stance. We were just saying it differently.
Yeah. Yes. I would agree. I agree with that.
Your head nod, your communication with your verbal clues.
My nonverbal clues.
Your nonverbal clues, which is 97% of communication.
Yeah. I would agree with that. That is overall, like, I agree with that. It's just like, that's a part of it, is the person, like, all people on like a basic level want to be seen, they want to be heard, and they want to feel important. Communication runs in all of those categories.
Mm-hmm.
And like, but it's how. Like, how do I want to be heard? Like, I need you to hear me in the way that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Not be heard in the way that makes sense to you.
Right.
Because when it comes out that way, well, then I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not. So I agree with your overarching statement. Yes.
Which is very tough too, because that was actually one of my top points was, how many times have you been in a situation where you felt like you were communicating with someone, come to find out they didn't receive any of that communication?
Yeah.
And like, why is that happening?
Yeah.
Because,
well, we had to go to like therapy to find that out, or confirm that.
Yeah.
I think we knew. Backstory, I feel like we need to back tread a little bit on some context of for how we got to this place. So you and I have always done everything not backwards, but not per se the norm. And we both have like, even to all the way to our wedding, like we wrote our own vows to each other against the pastor's advice. And we still took traditional vows as well, but we wanted to write our own vows to each other. And so that has something that though has like, it always shows back up for us in our words and our language and our talking and communicating with each other. So we have always just kind of, that has really been important to us, and to kind of do, we did not early on, we had friends, we had couples of who we were like, oh, it looks like they're doing it right or they're doing it good, but it like didn't necessarily all the way appeal to us. It's like ours was still always kind of different.
Right.
Which goes back to that measuring stick thing, and we kind of finally had to figure out like, I think we're just going to have to create our own.
Right.
So because it's like theirs is good, but like that's not really working well for us. And so then in doing that, then I've always been the, like for our friend group, in our marriage, in whatever, like I was always labeled like the big feelings person, or like the emotional. Well, yeah, I am. But they're like, oh, Frankie's gonna, like, I'm gonna cry, or like I'm gonna, I want to say the words, I want to give the little speech, I want to have the toast, I want to, and so like I'm listening to podcasts, or I'm reading like not self-help, but kind of self-help, like Bible studies, and like really. So we found through some pastor friends, and Enneagram was not new per se, but it had kind of like came out, and probably the only people who really knew about it were the mental health counselors and people like you were in that segue. And then it back in 2015, it kind of like was kind of cutting across to just everyday people, it seemed. And like they had Enneagram Academy. They were like putting out podcasts, counselors. Like it was just kind of spreading. It just kind of had picked up some. It wasn't new by any means. It had been around a long time, but it was getting some popularity amongst just the generalized public. So I don't remember exactly what year, but I stumbled across Enneagram, and then everyone I knew about Enneagram.
Yep.
Like you, our immediate friend group, my parents, your parents, my sister-in-laws, brother-in-law, like our whole family. Like I vomited. Like if you had ears, I was telling you about it. And there's some others like the Myers-Briggs and some other things that are similar. It's basically just emotional intelligence. And so we found this and I read everything I could get my hands on it, had people taking quizzes, find out what you are, and like all of that. So we had that's what I wanted to backtrack to like, we had this, we have always poured into ourselves, emotional intelligence type things, not just we want to have just like a good marriage. Like we like kind of knowing through different lanes of how we get there.
Where's she coming from?
Where's he coming from? Like what's behind this? What caused this? What triggered this? What trauma is this? And like healing. And so we had all of that. And then like it just has kept going. And so we had all of those type tools. And then through when I lost my mom, like, and there had been several things that had went on, and like the flood in our town, I'd lost my grandmother. Actually I lost my grandmother first, and then the town flooded. And then I lost my mom, like 3 huge things, not to mention a bunch of other stuff, that you finally looked at me, and was probably Mom passed away in August, and I think I started counseling in like January. Mm-hmm. But you begged, like, I really need you. Like, you have a lot of the tools, and like we've always poured and invested in this. But like, so if you know Enneagrams, I'm a type 2, which is the helper. But in like when you're in stress or you're kind of angry, or like you've got areas of growth, areas of stress, in the areas of stress, I can be a type 8, which is the I have my brain dead. What is the type 8?
The challenger.
The challenger. Yeah. Like, you're for the underdog. You're like, well, they can be, but you can be for the underdog, but like, you're going to challenge all authority. You're going to push back on everything. Like, you are 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and like, you can't tell me nothing.
That's right.
And so
that's where you lived.
That is where, after just so much of it, I did live there. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that I was all the way living there. And that was in communication.
Our communication was a fight, because that's where Frankie felt safe.
And and like, I just will never forget when you were just like, and because we've always described, I was like, like, get in the arena, get in the ring, and fight it out. And because that is where I feel safe, because if you're in the arena fighting with me, you're not leaving, or you're not, you haven't left, or, you're still engaged. You haven't abandoned.
Right.
And other ways of communicating in that way felt unsafe to me, because I didn't know that you were still engaged. It was like a silent, or, it's invisible.
Right.
But I will never forget when you were just like, I can't get in the ring with you anymore. And like, you are getting in the ring now with yourself. And like, you're going to go toe to toe with yourself. And like, I'm not going to have anything left. Like, me and the girls will have nothing left, because you are killing yourself on both sides. Mm-hmm. And like, we will have nothing left. Like, I can't do that. You have to get some help.
Yep.
And so that was like hard, hard to hear. And we went.
Which was hard coming from me, because at that time I was struggling with my job.
Yeah. You had we had
1,000 things going on.
We both had. And so, but it was just like, the communication was like, we could not continue. Mm-hmm. And so I did individual therapy, like fairly intense individual therapy for several months. And then we had a fabulous counselor, and he was like, and we had actually done some couples counseling before.
Yeah, it was not effective.
And it was kind of the cliche. Mm-hmm. And it was like, and it helped kind of. I think it did.
But we still use the bucket reference.
Yeah.
We got that from him.
But it didn't connect.
Right.
And so anyways, he, fast forward, and in mind, then he suggested that you do a little bit individual as well. And you were, as we know, I was rapid fire, like everything I was going through was passing it out. And then...
and it started because I was like, well, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I'm supposed to do on this side of the fence. So my first therapy session was, how can I support her?
Yeah.
And then it opened the door into, maybe I have one or two screws loose too.
Yeah.
And I could fix some.
But I think the biggest, I was going to say flex, but thing that I appreciate the most, and like his biggest flex, in my opinion, for our situation, was how much I appreciated that he suggested that he was like, it's like you're getting back on the interstate again. Like, I'm stabilized. Because like therapy, if you had to go to like rehab, it doesn't change any of your problems yet. It just, you kind of stabilize. Then as you move forward, after you get stable again, you start seeing the healing, and you're kind of like re-engaging and applying the tools and all the stuff. But the immediate fix is not like, oh, I'm all better. No, it's just like you re-stabilized.
Right.
So I feel like his biggest flex, and I'm so proud, and like he's doing his thing now and doing it, but was that he was like, y'all need to now do couples therapy so that you can merge back on together at the same, like y'all are both at the same speed. And so, because we were thinking, I've been doing individual counseling, I'm rocking it. You had done it too, and it was getting better. And, it was kind of like, well, I mean, shouldn't we? We've done marriage counseling before. This is seeming different.
We're just
but
going like we don't have big problems anymore. We're just back to our old
like
problems.
we're back to we were both in. So we went in thinking, and I think he did too, because he was like, y'all are not in crisis. Like, I think we can do this and knock it out. But what we found out that day, because we did like an intensive day, which is not everybody wants to do that way. Like we did like 8 hours of straight. But what we learned that day, I think hits on this communication of, and what you're questioning, what you're saying is, we did not realize how as much work and different stuff as we were doing, that it was like we were missing it.
Yep.
Because we were in different areas trying to get to the same goal, but we were not in the same room and we thought we were.
Right. And the toughest part to that is you feel like you're screaming and yelling at the other person, and the other person can't hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, they hear the words, you have the conversations, but it doesn't penetrate to where you can understand. I was going to say,
but like it doesn't, you don't feel the seen, heard, and important because it's not penetrating all the way deep down to that far.
And one of the things that I struggled with was, and I'm not an acts of service person. My love language is physical touch.
Yeah.
But I am the kind of person that will ask
That was another thing that we had put into our lives for so long, was just like, what's your love language? Like these are big. I think at the end of this, we need to provide a link with like a list of like all these books.
Yeah, a couple of books.
That we are like game
because
changers.
we probably just fire hosed a lot of people.
We did just fire hose a lot of people.
But going into that is, we knew what our love languages were.
Yeah.
Frankie has them all. I'm physical touch.
You can be multilingual.
No, I'm American. So
that was a horrible statement.
Yeah. Well, they say, what's somebody that can speak 2 languages? Bilingual. What's a person that can speak 3 languages? Trilingual. What's a person that can speak 1 language? Is American. We only know how to speak English. Every other country knows how to speak multiple languages.
Well, that's true.
They're smarter.
Okay.
Anyways, so that's where that joke come from. But I am also the kind of person that will only ask somebody to do something one time.
Yeah.
And if I would do something simple as ask Frankie to stop by our loved Trull Pharmacy and grab my prescription, and she forgot. Because
I was not just trying to forget you, but you casually asked.
Doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, your because didn't matter. But I was just going to say, for their other side of seeing it, you casually asked, but your priority was like at a max level 12.
Well, yeah, but you're jumping that one.
I'm trying to defend myself. I'm sorry.
You're jumping that gun.
Sorry. Okay.
Because we got to build that platform.
Okay.
So
sorry.
I asked Frankie to stop and get my prescription, and Frankie doesn't do it.
Yeah.
She comes home. She forgets my prescription. I feel completely unseen. And this is
unheard and not important. You like
I felt it all.
I did,
and this was, and to preface Frankie's defense statement, this was probably, I'm walking out of the bathroom. She's getting ready for her busy day. I've answered the phone 83 times at 5 o'clock in the morning, waking everybody in the house up. And in general conversation, walking out of the door, I love you, bye. Will you stop by Trull and grab my medicine? That's probably how that question was asked.
Yeah.
But when she came home without that medicine, then I was all the things. I was unseen. I was unheard. I was no part of any kind of anything was bringing me comfort. And so I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Until we did that day.
And I would feel incredibly bad that I forgot, because I'm like, oh my gosh, he asked me to get a simple thing, and he's freaking out about it, which then made me feel horrible too, because I'm like, how am I not, how can I forget that? He just asked me that one thing. And so, and I was probably taking kids to school, picking them up. We had all the things.
She was doing all the things for all the people, which is another thing that led into that, is anybody that's sending her a message or asking her a question, she's over here on her phone knocking out 1,000 different things,
Yeah.
and I just
But
asked
for
you to
people
do
that
one.
like I care about, but like that I ultimately I'm like, I don't care about them any more than you. But in my actions, like that was not okay. I didn't realize that, you
Yeah.
know. So, but yeah.
But
and
that was
then
tough.
you were like, you know, and he wouldn't ask again. But then you would be like, and I'm not trying to like put you on blast, but you'd like get it the next day or something and be like, got my medicine, had to grab it myself. Thanks for thinking of me.
Yep.
And then it would be like, crap, like, I'm sorry. And then, but
Yeah, when
like
she
you
got
had
home-
built like an
when-
ice wall.
Yeah, like I probably wouldn't even ask, did you get my medicine?
No, you would just be like,
she would have put it in there. Like if she would have got it, I know where it had been sitting.
yeah,
And then tomorrow I'll just go get it because
Yeah.
it's not important enough for her to go get my medicine. So I'll do it.
Mhm.
And in going through that, we had to learn a new way to communicate. For
Mm-hmm.
me, being the fact that turned into such a big thing and I was holding resentment for everything that was going on. And this was
Mm-hmm.
after therapy. We were doing, well, during therapy, we were doing, in my opinion, way better than we've ever done before.
yeah,
But we started putting he advised us to start putting a number system with it, 1
for
through
yours.
5.
Mhm.
And so if
Which-
I asked Frank, he's like, hey, I need you to do this at a 5.
Yeah. And he said, like, you can't make everything a 5.
Right.
He was like, but even if it seems mundane, he was talking to you, but it is a 5, you have to tell her it's a 5.
Yep.
He was like, but that way, if it seems like something big that she would think, but to you, you're like, well, actually, that one's kind of like a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she doesn't know you're distinguishing. Like, she can't distinguish how you're distinguishing it in your mind. Because sometimes little things are the most important.
Right.
And big things are like, oh, well, that actually wasn't a big deal. And so, like, you had to like, for a little while, we had to do it all. Which then we've went even further with that now at this point, in which, like, that there for a moment irritated you, that you were like, it irritates me that I have to still tell you, like,
Yeah.
put this on a number. But then we have learned, I'll let you tell your side of this because this is still new.
Yeah. So
Like,
we've learned multiple different aspects. I've actually, so there are times, and I don't know if this is what you're getting at, but there are times that we'll get to a point and she's like, well, I got this for you. And it's like, well, thank you. That was kind of like at a 1 because I'm not always great at doing the number system still.
yeah.
I try to do better. But it also fits into multiple different aspects.
Well, I was going to say it was on the measuring stick.
Yeah.
What we just recently got into, and like it was very much you were holding me at a double standard of certain parts of that. We were talking about being honest with ourselves, and like that was newer
Well, yeah.
of like, and you like we were having an argument, and then you just like stopped, and then like I think it penetrated all the way to the bottom of you one day, and something finally clicked, and you were just, I don't know, it's been better since then.
Yeah.
And you were like, didn't realize there was a small portion of it that you had not admitted out loud to yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to air your stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you share your parts of
you
it. But
can't air my stuff. It's
no,
fine.
well, that part though is still personal, and I know it's something you're still working through.
Yeah.
But you finally, there was a portion of that still so deep down underlying that you didn't realize. I mean, and I'm just saying what you've told me. Change my language if it's wrong, but like that you had not admitted out loud to yourself.
Yeah. There was a lot of that I didn't realize that I was holding it to such a high regard that it affected me so much. And I still don't know if I know where it comes from. Like what,
Yeah.
like air quotes, trauma or
Yeah.
what led that to be such a big deal, other than the fact that, we're both extremely busy and we're both doing 1,000 things for 1,000 different people all the time.
That's a hard part. And this is a really hard thing for me, especially if you know me, I struggle with this. Like a lot of things, yes, they do relate back to a trauma, or like you can't, like you're like, oh, like this is why they're that way. However, there are some things that, like, maybe it was caused, it's not an inherently bad thing. So you picked it up and kept it
Right.
and you didn't know. So it's like you can't trace it back anymore to that trauma because it's like, well, that it wasn't like a bad, but it's like something that didn't grow back right, but it didn't look wrong, but you didn't ever take stock and sorry. And like you didn't know it's not a weed, but it just wasn't in your garden.
Right.
And it's those things that it's like we want to trace everything back and find a fault. But you like some things you just have to like give up and you just have to identify it as like bad behavior or just maybe not bad. I hate to label it that way. It's just a behavior that doesn't serve me
It's just a weed in the garden that a bird could have brought.
Yeah.
Anything. Like,
but
you
like,
didn't
and it
plant
could have because of a trauma, but like you can't relate everything and tie it back to it. And so that's hard for us to give up that there are certain things that it's like, I can't keep trying to chase this down to find it. I read a quote one time. It was while I was in therapy. And it was talking about like, I've seen it several times since then, but it was talking about like, it's talking about forgiveness and apologies and just in relationships and communication. And it was like, do you try to chase the snake down that bit you and demand an answer for why it bit you? Because you could lose your limb in between that time trying to chase it down, like immediately. Like if a snake bites you, it's like you have two choices. You can either chase down the snake and demand it answer why it bit you. But now you've lost all that time of healing and it could, like your limb now is about to fall out. Like you're without a thumb.
Yeah.
Or you
go get help
and get healing immediately. And it's like, maybe you don't ever know why the snake bit you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've done some snake hunting for a long time.
Yeah. We need some justification.
And, you know, and I'm looking like a, I don't know what with, you know, I've got rotten flesh and missing some limbs at this point because I thought that part of the puzzle, I talk about it with people. I said this the other day, I was like, it's a part of the jigsaw. And we think that if we just have that piece of the puzzle too, that will provide closure and that will like, and it doesn't.
No.
Like I've gotten some of those pieces before or finally found them and plugged them in. And it's like, that did nothing for me.
Right.
Sometimes I'm not saying that certain things can't provide closure and make you feel better. It can. But a lot of times on some of that kind of stuff, we get so hung up on like, we want to know the reason why. And our brains are wired that way.
Right.
But we lose the balance of that. It's like, well, it's not going to, knowing the reason why isn't going to take back the bite.
That's right.
They're still going to have bit you
because
it's out of your control.
Yeah. And that's tough too, especially, depending on what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because if it could be something that was completely out of your control.
Yeah, and sometimes their reason could have been out of their control.
Yeah.
Some of it could have been within their control. But irregardless, you still got to bite.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like the bite still happened.
Yeah, and like we've got a lot of people in the community right now that's living that bite. Like we have no answers. We had the big explosion this past week, and
I just had a conversation with the girls about that. I'm sorry. I just had a conversation with the girls about this a couple weeks ago. I don't remember which one. It's probably both of them now. But we were talking about it was a Bible study I did like a long time ago, and it talked about holes, and it was like I think it was related to like Joseph. And his brothers like put him in a hole and sent him. It was talking about like things that happen to you in your life out of your control. And it said there's 3 types of holes. There's the hole that like you accidentally like, you know, you fall in, like it was your fault. You know, well, hang on, rewind. There's 3 holes. There's the hole that you get pushed in. Like, it was not your fault. Like, you were aware of the situation, but like they pushed you against your will, out of your control. They pushed you in the hole. Then there is the hole that like you knew the consequences and you jumped in the hole. Like, there's that one. And then the third hole is you don't like, you're an innocent bystander. You like it was just an accident. Like, you, the life in and of itself, this broken world, put you in the hole accidentally, like out of your circumstances. And I was like, in the Bible study, I remember thinking, I was like, oh man, like that's really good. But actually, the big thing is that came after it, and it said, but there's only one way to get out of a hole. It doesn't matter. Like, because there was all, you know, you're like, oh, well, there's 3 ways, and you're like deciphering your life. But then it was like, but there's only one way to get out of the hole. It's to look up and get out. But so many of us, me included, like I'm focusing on, well, like, which hole is this? Did I put myself in this hole? Did you push me in this hole? Or is this like an unavoidable accident? And we are like, why am I in this hole? And like, we spend so much time trying to, and not that that's bad. Like
it can be bad.
You know, an initial like, whoo, like, why am I in this hole? But we stay there and we stay focused on how we got in the hole.
Crime scene investigation at the bottom of the hole with no evidence.
Yeah. When really it's like, there's only one way out of the hole, and that's to look up and get out. And for us, like, God to get you out, but God can be a lot of vessels. Like, it could be a hole that you're squatted down in, and if you just stand up, you can walk out.
Well,
the ladder, but all of it.
I'm glad that you referenced God being a lot of vessels, because one thing I struggled with as a provider, and we're not a stereotypical household when it comes to guy girl.
Like
chore.
pink and blue jobs. Yeah.
Well, Frankie does. That's a guy job. Roll the trash can to the road. She labels guy jobs, but there's not any girl jobs. But she does label.
We do them all.
Yeah, we do them all. Now, I am not allowed to touch the washer and dryer.
No.
I'm not allowed, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But in going through that, there was a thing that I struggled with, is when I was struggling with, you know, stress and everything that I was dealing with work during that time, is I was digging deep and I was praying and I felt like I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I was in the Bible every day, and you know, and
like you were using the Bible to dig in the hole and figure out why you were in there.
maybe that's exactly what I was doing, instead of looking up trying to get out. And I was trying to, like, I was listening to inspirational, like, pump up, let's get this going, because I was trying to figure out a way out of the hole.
Yeah.
And
you had a preconceived idea of how it was going to look to get out of the hole, I think.
I did.
Even if you aren't conscious of that thought, I think that we all have we have this idea, even if you're not fully conscious, like intentionally thinking on it, you have this preconceived notion of how you're going to get out of the hole.
And so I thought that, you know,
and it's like a timeline. Like, there's another part of the puzzle that like you deem like X amount of time.
Well, and there's not anything more powerful to us than God. And I mean, God can do all things. So, like, I'm just going to keep giving this up to him. And eventually I'm going to be out of this hole.
I feel like a lot of things too. It's probably related to what I've been reading and what I'm all dabbling in. But we, irregardless of your thoughts on God, like, you know, wherever you land on that, time. They were like, time, though, is in if you believe, if you don't believe, like if you are a different denomination, like if you believe, if you're Buddhist, or like all the different things, they're like, we all unified believe there are 24 hours in a day. And it was like, yeah. And it's like, well, it's your perception of time. And I don't even think I've told you about this. And because I think of your tattoo immediately. And I'm like, okay, well, but like, what about my perception of time? And it's like for the things like stressors and problems and just living life, whatever. If you're a teenager, if you're 80, if you're 40, it's your perception of time. Like that's always the problem. Or it's like you don't have enough time, or there's not enough time to do this, or I've spent too much time doing this, or I should be done with this because it's been X amount of time.
Right.
Like that we don't like to live or allow ourselves to live into the, like there's not an infinite amount of time. Like after this day is over and this 24-hour work, we're not ever getting it back.
Right.
And we don't know how long, and until we don't have any, but like, do you live in this day like there's an infinite amount of time, or do you live in this day like there are only 24 hours? And I was like, well, I mean, obviously I live like there's 24 hours. And they were like, but it locks up so much of the stuff in our mind because it automatically puts us on like a time like crunch. Like we have to get this much stuff done in this day, or I have to, like it's going to hurt forever, or this choice is going to be forever. Or for me, I'm like, I've been praying and like, why is this taking so long? Like, why do I not already know?
I would say I live like there's an infinite amount of time. I was like, I can do this tomorrow.
No, but you can't go into tomorrow. It's just in this day. Like we have to put it in, I guess, time parameters. But it's like, do you live this day of like just that it's like an ongoing one day? Like it's like a new day is not ever going to start. Like this is just a continuation of just your time, like your perception of time. Not like I'll do it tomorrow, because then you're still putting timestamps on it. But like just that, like it's just, and I think the Bible talks about that, and that's a part of it. It talks about like we don't understand time the same way God understands time, and like we have all this. I don't know. That's just really been on my mind for like, I do approach everything with like, there's only so much time. It's an unrenewable resource. Like time is money. Like that, all these cliche things are quotes, but I think that sometimes that locks me up, because even when I have to say like, I'll do it tomorrow, like I'm still putting that off onto something, and I'm like adding it to another list. It was trying to get to the point of like being in the moment, and like that there's no timestamp on like how long that moment is going to be.
Right.
Just live in that moment for however long it needs to be. And I don't know, like we were just in Savannah with the girls, and like we both had moments of just like it just hit it, and that was before like we come home and this accident happened. But I think for us, just like with losing mom and my mom and different stuff, and it just, I don't know, it's like you just have those moments where you just feel like this moment could go on forever, and like it makes you not think about anything. It's like, I don't want this moment to end type thing.
Right.
Just where you're open to it, and it's not a renewable resource.
No, it's not.
And so it was just like your perception of time ultimately defines a lot of other things, whether you realize it or not, in your life.
Yeah.
I just thought it's kind of deep.
It is kind of deep.
But it just makes you like, different things, don't get lost on you. And then when major accidents and tragedies happen, it makes you reflect, and like you're for sure noticing, which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
To use those things to help. Like I was talking to my grandmother actually about this happening, and our stories are not like theirs necessarily. But at the end of the day, we were on one path, and then in a moment, our life got put on a different trajectory that we would have obviously never chose and you don't ever get to come off of it because there's one person missing, and in this case, a lot of people. And, I lost my mom, she lost her daughter. And for this, then we're talking about, I know that, some people are feeling grateful for her help or just her words and mine too, of all of that. It's like where you just kind of know you're already on that path a little bit. And we just kind of shared that, and she said she was proud of me too. And I was like, I'm proud to feel like that God is using some of my broken pieces in his bigger work of all of it, in like the mosaic of life that he is, that's ongoing for everybody, because we are in a broken world. I mean, that's just, we are. And, to think that, he can use our broken pieces as a part that are good for somebody else's, a good way for that. So.
Yeah. And, in going through those situations, I was listening to a podcast actually today, and they were talking about the different conversations that somebody has and where maybe miscommunication can happen. We kind of mentioned it in several other aspects, but parts of miscommunication can come from being in different stages or wanting different outcomes or being in different parts of your mind.
Yeah.
Technically.
I can't.
She can't roll her tongue, but she can do that. She can't roll her R's, but she can do that with her tongue.
Yeah. Well, unlike a neurolog, I can't say it. Say it for me.
What, you want neuroplasticity?
No, neurological.
Neurological.
Yes. Level is like that our brains are literally in different places.
So the guys out here can all probably resonate with me. How many times has your wife or significant other come to you with a problem? And it doesn't have to be guys, but are you the fixer in your relationship?
Yeah.
And you come with a problem. It's like, I have a problem. We need to fix this.
Yeah.
And I go into fixer mode.
Yeah.
And you are not in fixer mode. You are in, I just need to emotionally talk about this mode.
Yes. Well, and that goes into the neuroplasticity. We won't nerd out on this one, but it's because it is automatic. Like you automatically flip on the fixer mode instantaneously. Like you do not even realize now, like, because that's just your personality, like at work, at home, you're a man, the provider, like you just, and there are women that are also this way too. Like it's also part of your personality as like you're a type 1 more predominantly. So like all parts of your brain kind of like, it's like, automatic button. That's not what my automatic, but I have an automatic button, but like mine is not set to that. So in that with the communication, like sometimes good communication happens within yourself first, as can you like regulate yourself to like process and intake communication. And then instead of hitting your automatic settings that work best for you, can you pause them and process it all the way through and then like decipher or,
The tough thing is the language part, because we are also very big on language. Yeah. And when you come in and say, can you help me fix this? Like the literal words, like that's where my mind goes.
Yes.
And we've learned through and are continuously learning that doesn't mean Frankie wants me to fix it.
Yeah. My definition of fix for that is not necessarily
a solution.
A
hard logical solution.
Like your area of solution. Like
Yeah.
it's not defined the same.
And sometimes she just needs a emotional hearing, and the miscommunication comes from where we're actually, and not nerding out, but we're in different parts of our brain.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm in the emotional side. You are in like the logical side, which are not in the same areas of the brain.
and so in listening to this on Theo Vaughn's podcast, and this
I
is
know.
not where you think you're going to find out this information.
Yeah.
Because I love, because he has all aspects of his stuff.
Yeah.
But the guest that was on there with him was talking about how they got into a book and there's only 3 types of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And in that book, and I've since come home and researched that, and there's some truth to that when a person is having an emotional conversation with somebody that's having a logical conversation, there is miscommunication and their brain activity is very much different.
Yeah.
You take the same 2 people, and it doesn't matter what your education is. It doesn't matter male versus female. Like, none of that comes into play.
But when you're coming from the same
When
place,
you're reading brain activity and somebody's coming from the same place, you cannot differentiate that person through brain activity.
yeah.
Like, you become unified as one.
Yeah.
And they even went further on, and they got to talking about musicians when they're playing solos, even though they may be playing the same song, but we're into like a drum and guitar solo that a drummer thinks very different than a guitar player.
Yeah.
And when they're both soloing and doing their own things, their brain activity are very different. But when they're just in rhythm and playing the melody of the song, then their brain activity
one.
is exactly the
Well,
same.
and I think that's to marriage too. Like, you know, we learned this in therapy. You know, when you get married and you take vows and it's like the 2 become one, and there's all the cute little Hobby Lobby signs that are, you know, like what God brings together, let no man separate. Which we had that in our wedding too. Like, I'm not dissing on that, but it kind of sets
I
up.
think that's from the Bible, not from Hobby Lobby.
Well, it is from the Bible. They sell the little signs in Hobby Lobby, and like you Google like marriage verses that we want to use. So, like they, you almost made me lose my train of thought, but you get this cliched kind of, well, we've almost avoided a whole episode talking about sex, but like we talked about, you know, it's like, do I have permission type thing. So in this, when you start your marriage off and you don't know anything yet, and you're like, and all you're reading is this, like, okay, like we used to be 2 and now we're 1, and you know, we're just trying to be, and we've talked about like I'm gonna get 50, you get 50, and then it's like, well, you're both gonna suck.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna need to give, not that you're not gonna have those days, but like, no, you still gotta give 100, and you gotta try and give 100 too, and Jesus will help you. But
Yeah, because some days you both only gonna have 10
yeah,
to give.
but like Jesus is gonna have to help you each get to 100 so you can
Yeah,
get this.
I've heard Brene Brown, and she's gonna have to teach me how to come up with the 90 some of them days, because there's some of them days that Frankie walks in and she'll say, "I've got 10% to offer," and I'll be like, "Shit, we coming at it with 20."
So, well, I say all of that to say, like, I remember, I'm speaking to my own experience. I remember seeing all of that, and I'm like, okay, and obviously, like, I don't want to let God down, and you're really like, it's important, and I'm really holding all this and like trying to be good, and it's like, okay, well, like, you know, there's the marriage, and we're just one now. But then in therapy, we learned that like actually your marriage is like this whole separate thing. It's not just, it is where you 2 combine, but it's literally like a baby.
Yeah.
It's like another child that you had.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm still Frankie and you're still Corey. And then over there, the other part of the triangle is the Corey Frankie marriage blend.
Yeah.
And like, I think that we approached that thinking with the communication like that. And I think that's where in marriage you get to like where like, I think you can read my mind. And it's like, because I'm like, oh, we've merged, like all that. And sometimes you can,
We're
like,
gonna
sure.
do your triangle analogy.
Well, yeah, like the triangle is like God's at the top, and you're each of you are at the other corners, and as you're trying to get to each other, and you're furthest apart when you're there. But as you actually invest in yourself, then and you grow closer to God personally, then it is you grow and you go up towards God, then that proximity between the two of you gets closer together actually. So, but I just remember thinking like we must be doing it wrong and talking about communication and arguments because it's like we got married, like we're doing we've put all the ingredients, like we bought to the T what was on this list.
Yep.
How is it not right? But I think that we were just approaching it like it was supposed to be this blended thing automatically. And your marriage is also like you learn, this comes with time. Probably a lot of our seasoned listeners would agree with this. Irregardless, like you learn that you don't have to do everything together. But I think initially we all think, well, if we don't, like we're not building and we're not investing in our marriage.
Right.
When really, sometimes investing in yourself or learning yourself so that you can better communicate, not only with you, but it does start with you.
Yep.
I'm a harper on that. Like
You got to do the work.
It starts with you.
Yep.
Then you realize that is investing into your part of you that's over there, and which is helping to create a better and more, because your marriage is the product of the individualness and of each of you, and it's like a battery that's charging over there basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we see it as this different, like it's going to be automatic, or you're going to read my mind, or I don't know. It's like we think we don't define it this way, but all of our nonverbal language and body cues and assumptions lead us to think that like when you get married that, we don't think it's rainbows and sunshine, but we're like, oh, and we're taking the Hobby Lobby signs of like, love grows here. Yes, it does. But like you also have to plant it.
Yeah.
Like,
was it Phil Robertson said, we're going to live on love? Nope, you're going to starve.
Yeah, like but you think,
still gotta eat.
Yeah. But we kind of think, and I just remember like, I don't think that was ever defined to me either. It was like, and we did, it's like, you do think, oh, we're living on love. And it's like, no, you are in,
we're living on
you're
love,
like,
neither
your
one of us
marriage
could
is
cook.
dehydrated and you are delirious. And so, which led to some of the big miscommunications, lack of communication, no communication, isolation.
Yeah. And don't confuse
yeah.
isolation with going out and growing yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to go play around a golf and not be attached.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about there, right?
Well,
but you also have to be guarded sometimes on like what you go by yourself and do. And
yeah. Well, and I was just talking about like mental isolation.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
because that's a big area. Because I feel like the younger generations now have a slightly better grip on self-care, I think, somewhat, and better habits and some of that. But I was meaning even just on like the self-isolation in your mind. And like that's where you meet with your marriage, but you don't realize it because you think, a lot of people I just don't think visualize the marriage as this third extra party over here
that you got to work on.
Yeah. And like in therapy, and they were like, okay, well now talk to your marriage. And it was like, well, we are the marriage. And it's like, yeah, but no, you're just still Corey and you're just still Frankie. Well, that is the marriage over there.
But we are also the church.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, that should just be it, right? We shouldn't have to do anything because we are the church.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what happened with the New Testament, right? We just became the church. We don't need that building no more.
Yeah. So some
being
say,
sarcastic awful.
I hear you. I hear you over there. But I just remember, and I just wanted to speak to that because I just remember, not feeling like I didn't know that I was feeling like I needed permission in that area. But it's kind of one of those things of like, you don't know what you don't know till you know it. And you're like, oh, that makes way more sense. Yeah. And that's why I was, and like, we've been struggling with this, or I've been struggling with this.
Why don't he just do this like we're supposed to know this? Like this is supposed to be.
And we've beaten ourselves up 1,000 times because we were like, we know the tools. Like we have the tools. Yeah. Why are we not? Like, we read all this stuff. We are being intentional about putting, stuff in our marriage. We're intentional about having sex. We're intentional about dating. We're intentional. Like we were doing all those things. And then we were just like, how is this not working? And like, we felt like failures. Like we were like,
well, we can get into, I mean, I'm not trying to air your stuff out, but I mean, we all know that you love shoes. And when you were coming home and she's like, I want some Louboutin shoes. And then one Christmas I brought those home, and that
birthday.
Yeah. For birthday, I brought those home. And honestly, it was a goal for Frankie that I took away from her that she wanted to work towards. And I thought I was doing a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And you were, but it like a little bit of this part inside of me, and I didn't even realize it all the way. Mm-hmm. Like you kind of took it away, but then it started creating this like, I don't know, you were fixing things and helping, thought you were helping. And then it was creating like you were treating me like a child in our marriage.
Yeah.
And so, which comes, that can be a whole different podcast just because there's a lot to unpack in that. But yeah, I mean, we don't realize sometimes that we're taking like,
I guess what I'm trying to.
Oh, I read this earlier. In looking for, like, you can either choose to look at life of like, you're looking for the obstacles, like you're trying to pay attention of the obstacles and do whatever. But if you are focused on looking for the obstacles, you will miss the opportunities.
Yeah.
And so sometimes in focusing on, that's a good thing. You were trying to like, I'm looking for obstacles. I'm trying to fix what I can fix for her and provide some happy. And then in looking for the obstacles, you took away my opportunity.
Right.
And so, like, neither are inherently bad, but it just...
Yeah. And it's tough to see an investment like that looked upon, and it's like, I mean, it's very thankful, but at the same point in time, when you hear that and you're like, nah, that didn't really do it. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So
we'll do a whole segment on just that. I think there's a lot to unpack with that. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I think this was a good start, toe dip. And I don't know where we're at on time.
We're there.
Yeah.
We're past it.
We're past it.
You're gonna be late. We know.
We just for mental health and communication, and we're you're gonna see all the family, our children calling and texting. So,
yep.
But we deemed on our measuring stick, just real quick, that it was either this and getting it out and being a part of something we feel called and led to do, or it was trying to get it in a moment of where like everything has to look perfect within it.
Yep.
And edit out every moment, and it's like we can only film when we all know where they are and they're home, and it's like that just doesn't happen. It's just not realistic for us.
And the thing is we've got content, but then when we go through, once we've got content and then we listen to it, we're like, ooh, what about this?
Yeah.
And then we're both sitting there, it's like, well, we need to listen to that one more time. Well, we need to add something there. Yeah. And it's like, no, we need to just go back and take it as a weekly opportunity.
Yeah.
And we can carve that hour out. It may just be therapy for us to sit down and have an hour's conversation, and everybody else in the world can realize that they're not alone in this battle.
Maybe that's all we're here for. But I hope you enjoyed it. We'll definitely, there'll be a continuation on some of this, but communication and all the different parts of it.
Talk about stuff more than just talking about it. You can even talk about sex.
Yes. Oh, also, I wanted to give one more thing on permission.
Oh, Lord.
Well, we learned this a slightly. We didn't give ourselves permission for it because we were kind of like we got mad at each other about it. But we realized at a certain point, sometimes you have to travel with your job. But we were like, how can we communicate about deep stuff that is going on in our lives, and we can like text about it, or even verbal conversation about it, like when you're gone. And it was like we're able to do so much better. Then it's like now you're home and you're with me, and we were almost like giving ourselves grief about like texting about it. But then I think we finally like embraced that like it doesn't matter if it's face to face. Obviously, face to face and body language, and you're going to be able to receive a whole lot better. Or, but it's okay if you have to just like text about something. If that is easier for you to get out sometimes, because in text, you're not getting interrupted and hitting your button already, or I'm hitting mine,
and you can delete some of the things that you probably shouldn't say, but you type them out, then you're like, you know what? I don't truly feel that way. But when you say them live, they are out there.
Like, not saying like, oh, only text about it or whatever, but we gave ourselves like such grief about like just texting about it when we really should have just been like, who cares?
Yeah,
like we got it out there.
You'll text, I love you. Yeah. I've been trying to get her to send me a picture or something, and that says a lot, but we couldn't communicate in an argument. We can do everything else but argue on a text. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it helps us navigate out of it.
So I was just saying, give yourselves permission to, and especially, I wish we would have given ourselves permission for that before, because we bottled it up and we're like, wait till you got home. Because we were like, you were gone so much and traveling, and we thought, I guess you have to fight it out in person.
That's when the kids get it.
Yeah. And it's like, just give yourselves permission to, like, if you're in a season of life of where you're having to travel a lot with work to provide for your family and do all that, like, don't create a box even for arguing that you feel like you have to live in. It maybe you can just talk on the phone better, like easier when it's that way. Maybe it's texting. Maybe it's a Snapchat video, like, or something, like maybe you do want to video so you can see body language and stuff. Like, I don't know, but just give yourself permission. Maybe you want to write it down on a piece of paper and
in cursive.
Yeah. Like whatever helps you. I was just going to say, like, don't limit yourself on your communication. Like, maybe, it helps. And always seek professional help. Like, if you have ever had a thought that was like, maybe I need counseling and therapy, you're probably correct. And there's so many different avenues now.
I come at it from a way that I didn't need it. I have all these tools.
Did you just say you didn't need it?
I thought I didn't need it.
Oh.
Yeah. And it is way different than I ever thought it was.
Some people are not going to be a good fit. And you're going to be like, meh. But don't try it once and then get like a bad taste and then like, oh, they're all going to be that way.
Yep.
Like, it's kind of something you have to, it's like a steak.
It's like a car. Like, you can't.
Okay, we went different ways. Yep. I was going to say, like, everybody has a different temperature that you cook it at.
There's only one or two temperatures that you can cook a steak that's right.
Well, but some people like it more well done. Some people like chewing rubber bands. But like I was just going to say, like, don't burn the first steak and think, well, like, that was a waste. I'm never trying that again. Like, try it again. That's why there's 1,000 different restaurants.
I was going to say, that's why you test drive cars. Figure out what you like.
There you go. That's a good analogy too. So, but there's all different ways. So anyways, but again.
What went well?
What went well? What went well? We had a fantastic trip to Savannah that went so well. And we had some family pictures done while we were there. I don't know if those have all been put out yet or not, but Sophie's just senior picture, like, that whole trip just went well and was great. Like it was just so good. So, did I steal yours?
A little bit.
Well, what went well for you? Oh, and then I can merge. Also, when we went to the Tyler Childers concert, a big what went well for me was that Charlie Crockett opened for him, and someone new that I've kind of found. We had already bought those tickets like back in the spring, or even winter, and so I watched Ransom Canyon on Netflix, and he is like in a scene of it, but he like plays this kind of, so I looked up, I liked the song, so I looked up like music from the show or whatever and found it, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, he's like a cool like artist, and so I've listened to him several times. Well, then I saw somebody post his show scene, and I'm like, oh, he's touring, like we should go to Charlie Crockett. And so then I found, and it popped up and said like he was touring. I'm like, we've got tickets to Tyler Childers. But initially the first email it sent,
Childers,
whatever, only put it on the Friday concert. And I'm like, I was devastated. I
yeah,
was
she's like, we're about to switch tickets.
I'm like, he only is performing. He's like a guest appearance, I had thought.
Yep.
And I was like, we're missing it. And then you found it and you're like, no, I think he's just like, I don't know why it only said it was on Friday, but he's on all days. And so that was a what went well too. Like, and I had the ultimate outfit. Clock it. That's what the girls say. Clock it. It was great. And I had the cowboy hat on.
Well, what went well would be, I was going to say the concert and Savannah as well, but the concert was big. Whiskey Myers and Tyler Childers are two people that we have been trying to see for years, literally years. Every time they come to Nashville, we have something going on.
Yeah.
We couldn't get to them, and I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been fans of both of them
from their early days. Yeah.
And we
or it would be
finally
like,
got to see them, but we have
well,
also
they were
found
smaller than two. They've both finally grown bigger.
Yeah, so you can get more tickets.
Like, so their venue.
Whiskey Myers would only be at the Ryman.
Yeah, it'd be like on a day like we couldn't make it work or
on
whatever.
a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And so it was, and Tyler was the same way. And we got to see them both, and we found two incredibly new artists out of both of them, Josh Malloy and Charlie Crockett.
Yeah.
So if you don't know about Josh Malloy and Charlie Crockett,
yeah, we're big
you should
fans
check them
now.
out because they're great. So.
Absolutely. So we hope you've enjoyed this. Again, we are not professionals.
I'm a professional.
He is a professional
Not at this, though.
bullcrapper.
Bullfighter.
Bullfighter. But we hope you enjoyed it. We hope it was entertaining, if nothing else. Continue to follow along the journey in the studio.
Yeah, that is also
studio.
what went well. I finally got this set up, and it looks like craziness, but my drums are all set up in here.
What they can see doesn't look like craziness.
Yep.
So
I know, and it's going to change.
Yeah.
This isn't it. It's
so
not done.
happy
So
whatever
I don't
day
know if
this
I love
is.
this chair.
And these are deep. I've had to like set up on the mic.
Well, this podcast has been deep. The
It
chair's
has
been
been.
deep. The podcast has been deep.
We need some seat belts for as we move through, I'm thinking.
Or just
And I'm going to need some tissues. So, anyways, have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time for the Corey and Frankie podcast.
peace.
There you go.
He'll be blowing you up.
Jack and Sophie.
They know we're doing.